Hello from Precision Assess. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into something super important for adult family homes in Washington state. Resident binders. Now, I know what you might be thinking, oh, resident binders, just more paperwork. But honestly, these are way more than just stacks of paper. They're fundamental. They can really make a difference during DSHS inspections, and maybe even more importantly, they directly impact the quality and safety of care your residents get every single day.
That's exactly right. A well-organized resident binder, it's not just about ticking boxes. Think of it as the command center for resident information. It influences your daily routines, resident well-being, safety, everything really. It pulls all those critical details together.
Right. So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to give you a clear, actionable guide to what DSHS, that's the Department of Social and Health Services, requires for these binders. And maybe more importantly, how you can stay compliant effectively without feeling totally buried. Let's cut through the noise and get straight to what you need to know. Okay, let's unpack this then. Why are these resident binders so critical for every single adult family home? What's the big deal, really, beyond just, avoiding a penalty? For someone running an AFH day to day, does this system genuinely help? Or does it just feel like more red tape?
That's a fair question. We hear that a lot. Basically, these binders give you an organized, always current snapshot of each person you care for. And it's not optional. It's a definite requirement from DSHS for getting licensed and for those regular inspections. They really protect your residents, and honestly, they protect your home too. By keeping all that vital info care plans, MAMs, legal docs, emergency contacts, all in one easy-to-find place, it's your single source of truth. Something interesting we've noticed, homes with really well-kept, easy-to-access binders often report their staff feel less stressed during shifts. Because when a caregiver needs to quickly double-check something, maybe a medication detail or history, they're not scrambling through piles of paper. Saves time, prevents mistakes. It lets them focus on care, not paperwork.
That's a really interesting point, the impact on staff stress. Didn't immediately connect that to binders, but it makes sense. So, okay, beyond compliance and maybe happier staff, what about the practical side for the caregivers themselves? And how do these binders factor into emergencies when things go sideways and you need info now?
Yeah, emergencies are a huge piece of this. Practically speaking, these binders make it much easier for caregivers to follow the specific negotiated care plans we use here in Washington. They're absolutely essential for safe nurse delegation, making sure medications and tasks are done correctly, legally, like that DSHS form 01212, the nurse delegation referral form. That's key, documenting the RN oversight. You can't really do nurse delegation safely without a clear, updated binder. And beyond that, yes, they make a massive difference in emergencies. Think about a medical situation or even just a fire drill. You can't waste time hunting for medical histories or emergency contacts or evacuation plans. It needs to be right there. It also helps ensure continuity of care. If staff changes or you have someone new covering a shift, everyone knows exactly what to do because it's all clearly documented and consistent, like a user manual for each resident.
Okay, so it's clear why they're so vital: compliance, safety, efficiency, even staff well-being. But now let's get into the nitty-gritty, the part that can feel a bit daunting. What exactly does DSHS say needs to be in these binders? Because it's definitely more than just a name and phone number, right?
You're absolutely right. It is detailed, and this is where folks can start to feel a bit overwhelmed. DSHS requires specific documents, and they generally fall into two buckets: resident documents and administrative documents. Let's start with resident documents. These are all about the individual resident. So naturally, you need basic resident information sheets, name, birth date, that kind of stuff. Then there's the belongings log. DSHS actually has a form for this. It's Form 0251 stain, the Resident Personal Belongings Inventory. Helps track personal items. You also need the detailed resident assessment and the negotiated care plan. These are really the core, outlining their needs, their preferences, their goals. Then you've got all the nurse delegation documents and any PRN instructions. That's for as-needed medications. Like I mentioned, DSHS Form 01212, the nurse delegation form, is crucial here for showing that communication between the RN and staff. Okay, now for a big one, often a focus during inspections: medication administration records, or MSARs. The rules for this are spelled out in the Washington Administrative Code, the WAC. Specifically, WAC 388-76108475.
WAC, right? Those are the specific regulations.
Yeah.
Knowing those numbers helps.
Exactly. So for MARS, you absolutely must keep a daily updated medication log for every resident. The only time you wouldn't is if they're assessed as totally independent with their meds, managing everything themselves. Each log needs the resident's full name, the name of all their medications prescribed and over-the-counter the dosage, how often, and roughly what time it should be given. And, crucially, the initials of the staff member who gave the med or helped with it. That's for accountability. It also has to show if a med was refused and why. That's important too. And if there are any changes, like a new prescription or dose change, the rules are really specific. The log has to show the change, the date, proof you called the doctor in confirmation.
Proof you called and the written proof itself.
Yes, and a copy of that written proof. It can come by mail, fax, electronically, or even just be on the new labeled bottle from the pharmacy. And, super important, you have to confirm you've actually received the changed or new medication from the pharmacy before you give it. It's a key safety check. Almost done with resident docs. You also need all the legal and financial forms, including the disclosure of charges. That outlines all the costs clearly for the resident and family. Transparency. Okay, now shifting to administrative documents. These are more about your home's overall operations and compliance. You'll need things like a staff orientation checklist showing new hires are properly trained, evacuation drill logs, and your home's disaster plan proving you practice and prepare for emergencies. You also need written policies on key things: medication handling, reporting abuse, emergency contacts for the home itself. Proof of liability insurance and the resident notice of rights need to be accessible. And another DSHS form to know is Form ZU2709, the AFH Personnel Changes Form. That's for tracking staff coming and going. And just a quick note, lots of these DSHS forms, including the ones we talked about, are online now, usually PDFs you can fill out. We often suggest clients just make a DSHS forms folder digitally, makes them easy to grab, especially during an inspection.
Wow, okay. That is quite a list of specifics. And I could definitely see how missing even one small thing could cause a problem during an inspection. But it really clicks when you think about the bigger picture, right? Like the mission of DSHS's Home and Community Living Administration, the HCLA. They're the ones overseeing AFHs. And their goal is partnering with people for needed support and care. So all these details in the binders, they directly support that goal, making sure care is safe, thorough, transparent. So, okay, hearing all that, what does this actually mean for someone running an AFH day to day? How can they possibly stay on top of all this without it becoming like their entire job? It really feels like something that could easily fall behind when you're focused on actually caring for people.
That's such a valid point, and it's a huge concern we hear. Managing all these details can feel like a massive, never-ending chore. And that's exactly where Precision Assess comes in. We help AFHs meet these DSHS standards in really practical ways, basically taking that admin weight off your shoulders. So, for example, say you have a new resident moving in next week. Instead of you scrambling to get all the initial assessments and paperwork done while also prepping their room and coordinating, we can handle those placement assessments, making sure everything is complete and compliant right from the start.
Ah, okay. So taking that initial setup burden away.
Exactly. Or maybe you have a DSHS audit coming up. We can actually build and audit your resident binders for you, checking everything against the requirements. So you go into that audit feeling confident, not stressed. We also create customized nursing care plans that are really tailored to each resident, making sure they're compliant and accurately reflect the care you're providing. And we know things are busy, schedules are tight, so we offer telephonic and virtual binder setup too. We can guide you, review documents, ensure compliance remotely. It adds flexibility.
Virtual options, that's helpful.
Definitely. We also do ongoing annual audits just to keep things current year after year. And we help with digital integration, like moving to electronic RRs or emails and service plans that can really streamline daily tasks. And of course, a big piece is ensuring those caregiver care plans are complete with all the proper RN delegation documentation. Making sure your team has clear, correct guidance is critical for safety and compliance.
So it sounds like these services are really designed to lift that administrative weight, let AFH owners and staff get back to their main mission, providing that excellent hands-on care. That must be a huge relief for people. Okay, let's connect this back to the bigger picture then. Beyond just, passing the inspection, which is obviously huge. What are the other real-world benefits? What's the ripple effect in the daily life of the home when these binders are truly top-notch?
Oh, the impact is really significant across the board. First, think about inspection day relief. Seriously. Instead of that last-minute panic worrying about citations, you just hand over the binders. You feel prepared, confident. That peace of mind alone is huge. We see owners physically relax when they know they're ready. But even more importantly, it leads directly to safer, more consistent care. That's the real goal, right? All the vital info, health needs, meds, preferences, even little personality quirks. It's right there for every caregiver anytime. That means fewer mistakes, more personalized attention, just a better, more consistent quality of life for residents. Knowing someone's dietary needs instantly, for example, prevents issues and builds trust.
Yeah, consistency is key.
Absolutely. And for your staff, when the system is smooth, they can focus more energy on actual caregiving, less time hunting for paperwork, more time connecting with residents, doing activities, focusing on well-being. It boosts morale when staff feel effective and supported, not buried. And finally, having these well-kept binders just screams professionalism to families, inspectors, the whole care team. It builds trust. It shows you're serious about providing high-quality, ethical care. It says, we've got this.
Right, so it's really not just about rules for rules' sake. It's about building that solid foundation for better, safer, more confident care, which helps everyone, residents, staff, owners, families. Okay, so to wrap this up, at the end of the day, a strong resident binder isn't just paperwork. It really is the backbone of compliance and quality care in your adult family home.
And maybe that leaves you with something to think about. Consider how investing in getting those binders organized doesn't just check boxes and give you peace of mind. Think about how it actively improves the daily lives, the safety, the overall experience of the people you dedicate your work to caring for. It's truly an investment in them and in the success of your home.
So if you're starting or running an adult family home here in Washington State, and you want to make sure your resident binders are compliant, organized, and frankly, less stressful, reach out to Precision Assess. We can help with all of it: nurse delegation, care plans, initial health assessments, binder audits, everything you need to feel prepared and focus on providing the best possible care.